All right. Okay, we're on. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to. Yes, this is already season three. We're coming back for season three, and I know how much you guys have missed this, right? I don't know. Maybe it's been like 2, 3, or even more months that we haven't come back showing to you hashtag Myron Kaming advice. But don't fret, don't worry, because we're back. We're already here, and we're coming back with more excitement, more learning, more pieces of advice from a brand new or new lineup set of resource people for our season three. And maybe you guys are wondering, hey, Mentor, why is it that it's been a while since you showed to us or you had this episode? Well, you guys know for a fact that we've been loaded, we've been jam packed with so much, right? So many training, speaking, consulting, team building, and the like engagements. But I realized that, of course, we've been missed so much, right? Yours truly has been missed so much. This hashtag Myron Kaming advice has been missed so much, not just on the Facebook page, but also on YouTube, right? All our YouTube channel followers or subscribers, and even on LinkedIn, our fellow professionals there. Okay. So much for that. Once again, if you guys are happy to be seeing me again, to be having this hashtag Myron Kaming advice episode or season again, all right, likewise, the feeling is mutual. It is my pleasure to be able to share with you different pieces of advice that you guys would be able to use, not only to be successful at work or in your business, but life in general as well. All right. So I'm not going to take too much of your time anymore. I know that you are here, not just because of me. I'm just the host here. All right. I'm just the interviewer. I'm just the Q&A person. But I know you're here because you want to learn from our guest resource person. Okay. So who is our guest resource person? To be honest with you, our guest, I only met her very recently, right? Because I was invited to her event, which you guys would know more about later on when, I'm going to give her a chance to promote it. Okay. But it's an online summit for virtual assistants and freelancers. So I was invited by her team to talk about things that I believe would help virtual assistants or freelancers out there. But our topic for today is not going to be about that. Okay. We're going to talk about something as important as that, something as relevant, something that is as necessary, especially if you guys out there are supervisors and managers in your respective businesses or companies you work for, right? Because let me show to you, all right, let me flash here on screen our poster so you guys would have a preview on what we're going to have an interview, okay, with her, okay? And that is this. There you go. Combining people and EQ in performance-driven management. So let me go ahead, and it's my pleasure and honor to introduce to you our guest resource person for tonight. She is, all right, the founder and CEO of SOP Digital Solutions. So if you guys are curious what digital solutions she offers to her clientele, we're going to have her discuss that to us. And she's also the founder and CEO of another business, another venture. It's SGR, and I presume that's her initials, okay? Acquisitions Incorporated. And prior to that, prior to venturing out on her own, she also worked as a governance manager for a renowned local furniture company headquartered in where she's at right now. By the way, she's not here in the Philippines, but she is a proud Filipina. Now Filipina American, because she was able to have her family and achieve success in her career right now abroad in the US, particularly, and I'm going to have her correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Texas, there you go. So without further ado, let's introduce our guest resource person for this episode. This is the premiere episode of season 3 of hashtag Myron Kaming Advice. Let's all welcome Coach Sheena Romero. All right, let's bring her in, shall we? Hello there, Coach Sheena.
Hey, good morning. Good
It's
evening.
okay. It's okay. I'm gonna cut you right there. Cut you off right there. It's okay. We always set
Okay.
expectations with them that they're in the States. So the time there is morning. So let me
Mhm.
go ahead and tell you first, Coach, thank you so much for waking up very early for this. Is this really the usual time you wake up in the morning?
No, just kidding. Yes, it's Saturday here, so I do wake up early. Yes.
Nice. But usually, if not for gracing an online event as a guest like this, so what do you usually do on a Saturday to keep
On a
yourself busy
Saturday,
over the
I
weekend? Yeah.
do. Yeah, I do wake up early because I still communicate with my VAs there in
Nice.
the Philippines. So
I
yeah.
see. So when you said VAs there in the Philippines, like are they like concentrated in one area or they're everywhere here? They're all over the
Yeah.
country.
Yep. All over virtual.
Nice. So are there like reporting working for you because of your company SOP Digital Solutions, or is this a community that you're like the leader of, that you're, remember the term I shared with you, collaborating with?
Yeah, that's a real great question. Yeah, like 9 months ago, I know this is not about our topic is not about that, but of course, I was able to apply the leadership that I have learned from my old job to what I have right now. But 9 months ago, I did uh, found this group. It's called Pinay Virtual Assistants, and so yeah, it's a group of 14 now, 14,800 women because Facebook keeps on, I guess, the algorithm, how they recommend, and so we're growing, and yeah, my intention is just to be able to help out, be able to talk to them about how to be hired, like more of soft skills, and of course teaching them about more about emotional intelligence, so it's all over the Philippines.
There you go. You know what? And that's the reason why I identified with her easily that fast. That I said yes to gracing her event as one of the speakers, because yeah, there's something in common with us. She's like who I am, right? For the fellow trainers, consultants, and speakers when I founded the Philippine Advocates for Consultants and Trainers. So PAC is like the group that she's having right now with the virtual assistants and freelancers. There you go. All right. Once again, it's a pleasure to meet you, Sheena, and we're all excited and happy to have you here on hashtag Myron Kaming Advice. Okay, before we get started, guys, so we already have viewers and those who liked or shared this video. If you have any comment or question for Coach Sheena, please feel free. Don't hesitate. Okay, I'm gonna read those out for her, and I'm pretty sure that Coach Sheena will be very willing to answer them. Okay. So before we go to the topic, Coach Sheena, combining people and EQ in performance-driven management. All right. Apart from how I introduced you earlier, who else is Coach Sheena? What else does she do? And could you please, walk us through your journey from where you were in the corporate world to who you are now with your two companies? Go ahead.
Well, I guess I'm gonna start out with with my background just from there in the Philippines, if you don't mind me talking about that.
I won't. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, because of course I want for them to know that I know exactly, how it feels like to be there in the Philippines, and I know for sure a lot of your viewers are coming from there, right? So,
Yes.
and you know, there in the Philippines, I mean, I've gone through a lot. Alam mo naman yung buhay, like especially being in Manila. I graduated in University of Santo Tomas, UST. Go Step. Joke lang. Um,
Shout out
but
to all UST graduates who are listening out there. Be proud of
right.
you.
But yeah, so it was quite a journey. Like I've gone through a lot, of course. I always say that I'm very proud to say that I chase jeepneys. Ita-tricycle din ako,
Right.
LRT, MRT,
Wow.
bus. Kumakain ng siopaw sa bus, nanginginig-nginig pa. So that was like kind of my life, but of course a good life friend because my mom provided me with she worked really hard, and that's my
All
mentality
the
was
moms out there.
like that. Yeah, to all the shout out to my mom. She's probably sleeping right now, but um Yeah, so of course, I fell in love there and moved here to the US. With our child, I didn't have anything. I just had a box of clothes for myself, and the rest of the boxes were, for my family. So coming over here, I thought that it was gonna be, really amazing, and it was. I think made the ups and downs. I think that's still an amazing journey for me, just because that's when I learned who I was. Like being here in the U.S., I think it was because it was more because I can listen to myself, and it was okay. I started hearing what my heart is saying. Like there was no one to say like, well, I of course our mom. I mean, I love my mom, but of course, usually, when I'm there in the Philippines, we have maid, we have, it's like you're not, you cannot hear your own voice, and that was for me, right? That's my journey. And I think that being able to really just be independent in decision making and listening to yourself, that's the most important thing. So I did, and I applied, and so you don't even know how what I went through here. Like naglinis ako rin ako ng mga kubeta. I went through so much, right? So
So much indeed.
yeah, naglinis, nag-alaga, before I got my working visa. So when I was working, that's the time, like I did work sales at first, sales for ATM. I'm sure a lot of you guys know AT&T Uverse or AT&T.
Yes.
And of course my accent was really strong at that time, and I'm like, I just can't imagine. I'm always pulled at the back office at the huddle
Why?
room
Why would you
all
be
the time,
invited to the back office? Why?
because I wasn't making any sales, and these people keep
Oh,
on hanging up on me,
they felt
especially.
like you were not frontline material back then. I see.
Not at all. Like these people were just hanging up on me, and it's always like I don't want to talk from from anyone from outside the
Know
U.S.
where you're
or
coming
you know,
from.
especially from Alabama. Like Alabama, talaga mga very country, very kind of a little bit. Of course, not as southern as Texas, but anong tawag mo dito? So yeah, I just kept on being hung up on, and I did also timeshare. So I was selling, you
Familiar
know,
with it.
yeah, you're familiar with that. So timeshare is like a hotel, and
Yeah.
different members pay each and every single month so that they can, for example, Hyatt, you can stay in this Hyatt or another Hyatt. And in Indonesia, you don't have to pay anything but the extra expenses, yung mga food and all of that. So I
And if you
did
don't
that
mind me
first.
asking, I'm sorry for interrupting you. I'm going to interrupt you right there
No,
because
you're
I'm
good.
really very curious on behalf of our viewers, right? Okay,
Mhm.
because we have all the time later to talk about combining people and EQ, but let's just
Mhm.
go back to your inspirational story. So before you had the accent, you had the difficulty expressing yourself, right? But from who you were and your challenges back then, how did you get into sales? And how did you like get hired by these a couple of companies you're already talking about now? So how did
Oh,
you adjust, in other words?
that's a real great question, because even when I was there in the Philippines, I was working for BPO industry. So before, of course, it's just turned this call center. So I did that. I did sales there. Ano yun, like training. I was selling training materials for, you know, medical healthcare. But I mean, I still had that strong accent. Like I know my mom would tell me sometimes, you were dreaming and you were sounding like an American. And I'm like, it's there, but then of course being around, like you have all of these competition around you. Being here in the US, it's just like, how do I rise from this occasion being a Filipina, like migrating here? And it was just so hard, and I felt like, you know, um, I did get into that environment just because I had experience, but I don't know how this person hired me, even if I had strong accent, but she did. Yeah, so um,
Maybe this boss of yours found something else in you beyond your accent that made her think like, okay, this is a good addition to our team. What do you think that was? If you had any
so
idea.
it's more of grit. Um,
Great.
it's the grit, right? It's like me, like
Absolutely.
being there and just saying like, I'm a hard worker. Like I had nothing to show for, but like my experience in the BPO industry, which is good, but at the same time, I sales is like, I mean, I wasn't a top performer when I was there in the Philippines. I just knew that I had to sell and I have to find someone I knew because we own different accounts. So I had to call that same person, like people I was looking for Filipino Americans.
Oh, okay. Intentionally. I see. Okay.
But and I was very scared of sales. I didn't even if it's like selling a product kind of scares me, but just thinking of the value that I'm giving to people is what makes me kind of unscared. But being here selling AT&T versus like a parang microfiber,
Yeah.
microfiber, not
Fiber.
microfiber, fiber optics.
Fiber optic.
What am I talking?
Internet. Yeah.
Fiber optics cable, right? So that kind of like, I was selling it, but I wasn't excelling at all. So they had to pull me over and over, and the director had to talk to me and wanted, they were gonna let me go because I wasn't producing. And I was thinking, but at that time I applied like maybe two times to a company that I stayed for a long time for. But I was already, I was telling her like, I just want to say so many things and I just can't express myself. Like there's just so many thoughts in my head and I want to be able to probe and say everything. And I said, I just don't know how to say it in order. That was my problem at that time because I was just all over the place listening to my phone call, and I'm like, this is a disaster for me. And so I collected my last paycheck, and I was like, I had to like almost every year I was applying for the company that I wanted to be in. And for me, it's funny because going here and starting to kind of listen to myself what I want. I
Mhm.
already know that this company that I applied for is who it is the company I want to work for and grow with, right? So I did third time and I encountered a Filipino American.
Mm.
She
Okay.
was a senior manager, and I
Nice.
talked to her because they rejected me. I don't have, and of course I did muna the timeshare, but it wasn't for me because I was facing Americans and I can't relate to them. I'm hiding all the time.
Yeah.
No, person
It
to
is very important that you're able to relate to the very same people you're
yes.
selling stuff to, right?
Yeah, I felt like a strange person because I can't relate to these people here. I can't talk about football. I can't talk about any holidays here. It's just like I felt like just a total stranger, a total weirdo. The whole time I felt like I'm just like alone in this world, and it just how do I find myself? I guess my aim was that, right? But of course I'm around Filipinas who friend of my ex-mother-in-law, so they would sing and karaoke sa bahay. you know
Right.
and yeah, so that made me kind of I stayed grounded because of that, and I'm
Mm.
like, okay, no, I have to do something. Like, I mean, I felt like I'm just failing it failing, like I just there's something inside me even when I was in the Philippines, kahit yung when I was chasing, just remember all the time when from school, from my college. And I remember when I chased that bus and I said to myself like, I'm gonna have a car, I'm gonna have my own house, I'm gonna, I was dreaming big, I'm gonna go to the US and I'm gonna make it, you know
And
so
now you're already there. You're already in the US and you made it, right?
yeah. And of course, the aim of being able to help out other people, I think that's what made me like really, kind of really step up. Besides the fact that I have family, I have a daughter at that time. So, but yeah, so I ventured into. I did apply for that company that I worked for, and then
Is
she
this the
hired me.
company that you requested that I keep confidential, right? Is that
Yes,
it?
yeah,
Or okay. So
yeah.
is
So
that what before you went out on your own? Is that the
yes,
company that you worked the longest for?
yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've never worked for a company for that long.
nice.
Not
So that
ever.
this is the perfect segue before we start talking about combining people and EQ and performance-driven management.
Mm,
And I'm
yep.
pretty sure that you would love to talk about this because you did this yourself. This
Mm,
was your
mhm.
best practice back then. So I guess
Oh
our viewers, our listeners are curious, all right, from the very challenged Sheena Romero version one before, right? How did you work your way up to become a manager where you experienced this very same topic we're going to talk about later? How did you do it? How did you pull it off? In the US, come on, with
yeah,
usually very strong American with their culture, right?
very.
How did the Filipina do it, Sheena?
And it's I mean, it wasn't overnight, that's for sure.
For sure.
But the first time I was, so I got hired on, and I said, because they rejected me two times because I didn't have any collections experience. I wasn't so the third time, I just I that was a Filipino American who gave me a chance, and I kind of, I said, like, when I get in there, I'm gonna be really working hard, and I'm gonna do the company really good service, and all of that. And she hired me, and I was very timid. I was very shy. Back to zero, right? In confidence is tag, 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 tag. Balik na naman sa zero. So I'm like, I need to. So I was, because we have different departments back then. So how many days past due on account until recovery. So I was kind of placed in different departments, and I was just not excelling. But in my seventh month, um, I found myself, and I would always ask my manager questions like multiple times. And there was a time that my manager even shouted at me, like, you just asked me that. Oh, okay. I'm just making sure. So I was like very like, oh yeah, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Like I was really walking on eggshells, but at the same time, I was already like, I know my instinct, and I sent my daughter to the Philippines because I was about to like kind of no it's plan like to like as move up. And I told her, like, I'm gonna work hard, and we're gonna have a house, and we're gonna, because we were living in an apartment, and we have to go all the way third floor with me carrying all the groceries. And my daughter would ask me like, mommy, why do we live up here? I mean, man, of course my family wasn't here, my mom wasn't here, and I went through divorce, and it was like I was in emotional turmoil prior to me even leaving the first company that I was with. And I was just like, just it was chaos for me, and I didn't have any place to go because of course I had to go through that. I don't know if you can say that nasty divorce, because there's no I don't know no properties involved. It was just about about our I guess taking custody of our children. So we have shared custody, and I have kind of won the battle. Right? I defended myself, but it wasn't. I think it's more of the journey that I had. It was just like I didn't know where to start, what to do, where to go. I just know that I have promised to my daughter that we're gonna and mommy's gonna work really hard, and I'm gonna get this. So I did. I hustled like day and night. I mean, I worked even the weekends, and I listened. I paid attention, and I was taking care of. I was on top of my rank on the department, and I was also helping out other people. I was starting to naturally, even if I was kind of scared, I was telling my manager like, um, can I help you out with anything at all? I was already
Yeah.
starting. I was feeling it because, but before that, when you're talking about how did you get there, I wasn't. That wasn't my plan. My plan is I'm
Wasn't
gonna
even
do
much
really great.
thinking on it. I see.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of it. My plan was to do really great, and I know somewhere along the way I'll be helping out, helping out other people. But I wasn't thinking of that. So when I
Was it like one day you were just surprised, Sheena, you're promoted. Congratulations. What
well, I
was
actually
the plan to like go up there, right?
no, but
Thank
you know,
you.
yeah, and I mean, I wish it was like that, right? But I was kind of still timid at that time. I was still shy.
Oh, okay.
But I was just very, very, kasi tayo masyado tayong, sige po, like, pwede ko bang,
Yeah.
can I.
How do I say that? Kind of, lack of better term, subversive, right?
Yeah, so I was very kind of like that kasi mga Pilipino very respectful, like,
Yeah,
especially of higher power, you were
correct.
like, yeah, what do you want, very accommodating.
There, very.
Um,
That's an even better word. Yeah.
yeah, so but when, my and I'm gonna say it out. He's a white dude, and he's like very upfront with his jokes. And he
Mhm.
was the person he's the second person who hired me. Like I had first and second interview, and
Right.
he saw something in me. So so I went to different managers, and I landed back with him. And when he's out, I'm taking over. I'm calculating goals for my team and giving them, okay, this is how much more you need to do in order for you to get to your goal. I take over phone calls and I turn them around from, no, I'm not going to pay, to, okay, let's get it. Okay, let's go ahead and pull that debit or credit card.
Wow.
Um, yeah. So, and then, how do you say this? There are sessions where I correct my manager right up front. I said,
Mhm.
well, that's not the calculation for that. It's 0.01 to 2, right? And then
So from a
it's like,
timid girl that you were, at that point, you learned to become assertive with what you needed to say to get things done.
yeah, for as an agent, I was starting to be like that. But when I kind of felt that already, I told him, like, can I apply for a manager in training? So that was the approach, right? And he was like, sure. So I did the online test, and I guess I kind of passed. So I did, the interviews and all of that. And they were like, kind of, some of them, like one of them was thinking like, language language barrier. I don't know how she's gonna survive. I don't know how she's gonna survive, because all the managers was telling me, like, if someone messes with you, let me know. So I felt like I didn't have a backbone, even if I was in there already, right? So I think it was more of like, I was absorbing like everything. I was already gearing myself up in the back of my head, like I'm gonna learn just everything, like maraming chismes, of course, mga inggit-inggit ganun. But I didn't focus on that. I focused on, okay, what are the skills that I can show up for where when no one else is doing it, right? So
Right.
being there for as an IT, like to tweak on technical stuff, to be there early in the morning, to be there when someone needs something. I wasn't focused on getting promoted more. I wasn't focused on being recognized. I wasn't focused on any of that stuff. For me, it's like, let me get this ground up, like my foundation, and learn a lot, and do, be good in calculating, be good in all the knowledge, like, in order for you to kind of build your value, you have to be able to really know your stuff, right? So
Right.
that you can be a go-to person. And I was just there. I was performing. I was working really hard, and just what I guess I overworked myself, because I was available to everyone. And when I was starting out, this is when the emotional intelligence I'm talking about, because when I started out, I was in a ano naman, I was in a relationship, and I was very, alam mo naman tayo, ewan ko sa'yo pero ako as Pilipina, parang masyado akong emotional. Parang I found myself really parang just, oh my God, like, iba yung yung feeling. But when I was going through breakup at that time, and I have people to manage,
Mhm.
That, I was crying inside. I was crying and dying inside. But if someone calls me, they need help, I have to like zip it up, zip up my heart, nagdudugong puso. Tapos just convert myself to, oh, like just focus on that, right?
Mhm.
So I have to be mindful of my, and discover more of my emotional intelligence and be able to manage just the whole me, because none of these people will care. All they care about is you take care of them.
Correct.
It's different sa Pilipinas kasi.
Correct.
Right? Kasi dyan meron pang medyo may pagkabarkadahan eh, no? Di ba?
Yeah.
Meron din naman dito, but for me as a Filipino, kasi syempre I had strong accent even until siguro mga 2017, and the reason why I can tell is because people were still telling me like I don't want to talk to anyone from 8,000 miles away from here. I was still hearing that, but afterwards, I wasn't hearing any complaints
Yeah.
about
Is
it
that
anymore.
like Sheena? Is that you? You sound like one of us now. Wow. In just
Yeah.
2017, you said in just 5 years. Yes. How fast Filipinos learn.
No, but yeah, I was I don't even was thinking of being proud as as anything. Like I was just working. I
Yeah.
wasn't, that mindset didn't even like I just want to be able to make it. I want to make good money for my
Yeah.
child,
You have your
and above
inspiration.
that, be able to help people, be a go-to person, and be able to share, like do automation and spreadsheet, and people come to me with technical stuff like data and all of that. But yeah, so I learned it the hard way. So before I was complaining, like they're just looking at us like numbers, I was emotional about that. They don't care. I work hard, but no one pays attention. Until I was able to convert to not focusing on that, focusing more on how can I make this better? How can I assist, my people in order for them to, to ano, and kasi iba yung emotional intelligence of adjustment as an agent, and iba pa yung leading people. It
Right.
was kind of different. Because now you are not just responsible for your own emotional intelligence, but your people's as well. So people reporting to you.
Okay. You know what? Before we segue to our commercial and coming back for digging deeper into this topic of combining people and EQ and performance driven management, I just want to process what I've learned from you so far. I got two things, Sheena. Number one is
Hmm.
that we even like, okay, so getting promoted is important, right? Because when
Mhm.
you get way higher, it comes with a higher pay, right? But what I learned from you is that you didn't really focus on that, because before you could even try to get promoted, you must first build, enhance your value. So that's what I learned from you. So if you already have the value addition, like what can I offer to this company? What can I offer to the people I'm going to work with? What am I going to offer to the people who are going to report to me that I'm going to supervise? If I don't have any single thing to offer to them, I'm not ready for the promotion yet. That's what I learned from you. And when you were already set for the promotion, now the value you established in yourself, you started paying forward, which I really,
Mhm.
really like so much. Okay, so Sheena, we're just gonna go a very quick commercial, and then when we come back, let's talk about this topic: combining people and EQ and performance-driven management further. But before that, let's go ahead and a lot of people have already commented, so we're just gonna be getting a few, which we would notice here. We already recognize some. Okay, let me show all of them real quick. So that's from Black Scott TV. This is a very interesting topic. Maybe you know this friend of ours, Amleth Batikula. Hello, Miss Sheena. This one is a comment from LinkedIn, Dr. Manuel Guzman. There, good evening, guys. This is Charlotte Rosario. This is Make It Viral Videos TV. I can definitely relate with this topic. Thank you for sharing. Si Leia Rakitera. Wow, I like that name. Wow, what an amazing story po. Very inspirational, Coach Sheena. The Dark Fire Raiders watching from Dubai. Glenn Dialabante. Some of them maybe you know. Okay, a follow up from Dark Fire Raiders. Glad to be here listening to your vlog, Coach. Learning a lot from you guys. Okay, Maria Loresco, totally agree with you, Coach Sheena. Jenny De Leon Velasco, hello. Crystalline Keith Asay agreed. And Ashley Chi Esguera, good morning, Miss Sheena. All right, so we're going to be coming back for more. Just stay put, just stay where you are. Both of us will be coming back. Once again, you're watching hashtag Myron Kaming Advice, now on its third season. This is episode number 1.
Are you looking for a software that will monitor the working hours and output of your employees, whether working from home, working remotely, or in the office? A software that your employees will appreciate as everyone will be pulling their weight? Well, look no further because Workmate is here. Workmate is a time tracking and remote monitoring software with collaboration or project management feature and a planner. Yes, you heard it right, just like your 3-in-1 coffee. So relax, have a sip, and click the link to know more.
Okay, I just shortened our commercial because I'm really very excited to know more about this topic. Welcome back. You're still watching hashtag Myron Coming Advice with yours truly, Mentor Myron Sta, and our guest resource person. Once again, let's give her a big round of applause. Coach Sheena Romero. Okay, Coach Sheena, let's talk about combining people and EQ in performance-driven management. I remember the original title, like strategically balancing or combining these two, right? EQ, emotional. This is the one you were talking about earlier, emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
Basic human capital. I want to know what do you mean by that? And then in a numbers and performance driven management. So first off, why did you choose this topic to feature in our 1 hour talk show? Is there something about this topic that you personally experienced and you want to like pay forward to other people who are also leading different ways? Go ahead, coach.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I think being Filipino or Filipina, right? Usually we're more, how do I say this? Parang emotion. And I'm not saying this because, just because, it's because, we come from, a place of like, parang maraming, mahirap ang buhay, di ba? Yeah, I mean, for me at least, with
Filipino
how,
stereotype.
huh?
The Filipino stereotype or generalization, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of like yung buhay na naka ano ko, anong tawag mo rito, nakasanayan na or nakikita ko sa nung bago ako pumunta sa sa US, right? So I'm not sure. I mean, I went there like I guess last month, and I kind of I don't know, nag-improve na, di ba? But way back when, a lot of people, and I see, a lot of people, and it's not just there, right? It's here as well. They complain about, why is, it's like you guys don't have a heart, like, we're just numbers to you, like, they're just thinking of like, they're not, of course, naturally not thinking about the view from a business perspective, more of like where people, you have to understand it us, and that's it, right? And usually that's what I encounter even here in the US, right? Managing people here in the US, I've hired, you know, a lot of ano na, I've hired and have to, I don't like saying it, fire people. But the reason why I'm choosing this is because there are a lot of not just our subordinates, anyone who's an agent or an employee, um, ano rin, leaders rin, right? So there are leaders. When I became a leader, I was still, the emotions are still there. I can feel it, and I had the struggle of course, I was brokenhearted. Like, how do I manage this? Like, that's the biggest question. It's ang hirap pag brokenhearted ka, ang hirap pag ano ka, lost.
Effort. and life, right?
It is so hard, right? And I didn't have anyone here. And it's not that parang wala akong kaibigan, wala akong buhay, but I was able to kind of socialize with my own self, if that makes sense. Parang I was able to have a self-talk, healthy self-talk. Hindi naman yung sumasagot sa sarili.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a very special moment with yourself, right? um and I learned that with me observing people, with me managing people, kahit dyan sa Pilipinas, kahit dito, it's the same mentality. Like, why am I just, I'm just numbers. Like, when I applied for my very first job here, I was like, I applied for HR, I applied for this, I applied, and I felt like they're just rejecting me. And for me, it's like, ano bakit ba kasi Asian ako? Is it because I'm Filipino? That's why, I was blaming
Well,
it.
talking about the treatment, I guess it's me personally, or maybe I'm asking on behalf of our audience. What was or were the differences between an American employer working environment and versus Filipino employees or working environment?
Well, for me, and that's the reason why this is kind of a sensitive topic for me, because some people would say like, oh, kasi Filipino tayo. But, I had that kind of mentality. But you know what? In the environment that I was in, I got, of course, I got promoted in such a short period of time, 7 months, and then I became a regular manager in my 9th month sa company. And on top of that, I had like siguro 4 raises, when the other managers dito sa US is like they've been with the company for 11 to 13 years, and they are staying with the same amount of pay. So
Yes.
I couldn't say that for myself, because I won awards every year. So it was the skills. It's the skill. There's nothing else but you focusing on the goal, being able to drive it, being able to make sure that your people are taken care of, making sure that you're able to produce the numbers, and be able to combine both of those, right? Be able to combine, when I talk about, human capital, ano ka para empathy, basically empathizing, right? Because I know, out of anyone dito sa US, if they say, oh, I'm going through stuff, look, I've gone through that, right? Someone going through like a battered relationship, I've gone through that. I don't have anyone here. Guess what? I came from everything that they turn around and say, I'm going through this, that's why I can't focus. And me being able to say that, hey, I've gone through, I can't even tell them like how gaano kahirap na yung buhay sa Pilipinas bago ako umalis, di ba? Yung talagang minsan nanginginig-ginig ka pa. Kasi wala kang, I had those moments when I didn't have, like, one time lang kami kumakain ng pamilya ko sa isang araw, di ba? Parang isda lang yung si Gigi lang ang si Gigi lang ang best friend natin.
Is it like, I don't want to get too ahead of you, right? But is it like the Sheena that you were able to capture their hearts and make them look up to you, respect you, and not see you as, an Asian and not from our country, right? But because you were able to capture their hearts through empathizing with them, right? What you're going through right now, I also went through, so I get where you're coming from. Is that like the key right there?
Well, the first time they didn't even recognize, like, as soon as I started becoming a manager, they didn't even recognize that, because I had strong accent. I was kind of timid. I was shy. I was like so scared of leading people, because I know I have it in me, but at the same time, I'm already here. I'm already actually leading people. But how do I combine all of these things? Emotional intelligence, leading people, knowing my thing, and saving people whenever they're
and you also have your personal problems to deal with, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, of course, in training people, navigating, not yet hiring at that time, but the very thing that I had to do is, I didn't tell them like, you have to respect me or anything like that, or not yet like that, right? Because they just look up to me, like they're weirded out, like, ito ba yung manager ko? But
Yeah.
she can even express herself. But when the moment I hit and I take over their phone call, I'm a totally different person.
Yeah.
And
Is it
I
like,
went-
because the stereotype is they're usually towering over us, right? So it's like there's a joke that instead of me looking up to my boss. Now I'm looking down to my boss, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I feel, but I didn't pay attention to that. So give me that call. If you need any help, let me know. And when I got in the phone and I turned around their no's into yeses, okay. And I say, when I say that, okay, can you please go ahead with your debit or credit card? That's the time when they knew already, okay, this is the reason why she's my boss. Or not,
See,
Reno.
that's the command. You were able to command, right?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
they respect you, right?
Right. So I think that's when they start kind of listening to me.
Listening.
And I afterwards, of course, I had to stay there. So, you don't have to use like powerful, like high combobulating words. You can just use a like layman's term.
Correct.
These people are, some of them are old, some of them are depressed, some of them are, anger. They have anger in them. So you just have to come from a place of empathizing with them, right? Because they, you know, of course, kolektahan ng utangan, di ba? You're collecting a debt. So people are going through stuff. So it's you being very relatable to people is what's gonna really help you out. And then yeah, that's from that time. And I didn't, I one team to the next. When I got moved, I didn't get that respect right away. Every time I move, there's always newer people, and they're like, because I
Always
can hear my
starting
accent.
from scratch again, right?
Yeah, I'm starting from scratch again, and I have to like easily like drive that, that like everything starting from scratch, managing people and knowing them, and all of those management kind of techniques and strategies and all of that. But yeah, so being able to prove myself, because I mean, and it's sad, right? Because I was placed in that position, but then they like really very my pushback. So yeah, being able to not get affected with that is part of the emotional intelligence. Like I cannot stay there like, why are you not listening to me, or why are you like they're talking behind me, and I can see that, but I was just focused on when they needed help with technical problems. I went to IT. Okay, how does it get fixed? So next time I don't have to come to you. I can fix it immediately. And like it's for me, it's like immediate fix right away for them. So they saw that I was just there for them. I appeared not just for the skills that no one else is showing up for, but for them, like being there, me seeing them as human beings, right?
Yeah,
But at the same time, I have goals to achieve, so I
correct.
cannot, I cannot ano that I cannot anong tawag mo yun? Hindi ko siya pwedeng kalimutan. I cannot forget that part of my role.
See, that's really wonderful, wonderful right there. Like that, what you're telling us right now, you were able to showcase. Okay, numbers are important, right? Numbers
Mm.
are what drive the business, make the company profitable, right? But not only that, you saw your subordinates, okay, as people with emotions, with feelings, but you also tried to not be emotional yourself with negative things,
Mm.
right? Like when you feel like somebody's talking behind your back, you were simply ignoring it, right? Because that's not going to help you at all, right? Let's say maybe you also had your own share of discrimination in the workplace. Maybe you just shrugged it off. You didn't really mind it, right?
Yeah.
Because the more you focus on negative things at work, negative people, negative thoughts, negative situations,
Mhm.
then just like what you said, you're not going to be able to get things done, right? So
Mhm.
wow. So there's
Yeah.
really to balance this EQ, this emotional intelligence thing, and still being able to deal properly and ethically and professionally with
Mm.
people, no matter how difficult of personalities they have, right?
Yeah, and for me, I think talking about race. For me, of course, I'm an Asian Filipino American, right? Talking about those things, like going back to like, oh, I didn't get hired, or I didn't advance just because I'm Filipino. Those things are your reason for yourself. Parang meron kang safe place, safety net to say, to say that I'm not gonna work harder, right? For me, no, I'm not gonna make that my reason to advance, because that's not the reason. Because I know for a fact that I got those raises because I really like worked hard. And when you
Yes.
work hard, you're gonna be recognized.
Well
You're gonna
deserved.
shine. It doesn't matter who you are. For me, it's like you just have to do it, and you cannot be staying there. I'm gonna work hard because I'm gonna get paid, right? Because the usual mindset of people is like, well, what's in it for me if I work that hard? What I know, that's above my pay grade. Ayun yung common, that's above my pay grade, or like, well, am I gonna get extra money? Like, I wasn't even thinking of that. I was like, let's go, and everything else will
Will
follow.
follow. Yeah.
And sure
Just
enough, it
deliver the
did
results, and
deliver results.
everything else follows. Yeah.
Hmm. So
That's
yeah,
great.
and that I know that mentality of being Filipino, that wasn't an excuse for me. I was like, nope, I'm gonna I'm gonna get my like small and parang kinang, and I'm gonna let it shine. Like, I'm gonna show them why because before they were saying, like, when I was starting out, oh, she's like this and the favorite and all of that, but it wasn't about that. It wasn't like, I kind of earned my place, right? I was showing up, and people okay, so sometimes we would be, well, that one time that everyone was given a chance, well, I had was given a chance to work 7 o'clock so we can go home 4 o'clock. So someone complained about it, and then I said, okay, it's yours. And then it was hard. It's hard to work 7 o'clock in the morning. It's like parang you're dreaming, like you're having nightmares because you're having to open up the building. But they found out that it's not easy to be opening up the building. So I think sometimes we just want the position of someone else, just because it looks amazing, but we don't know what they had to go through in order for them to be there. So paying attention to your own self, managing your own self is and being self-aware is very, very important.
There you go. So, for those, all right, fellow Filipinos and Filipinas out there who, let's say, just arrived in the US, all right, and like sizing things up, okay, you're struggling, like, how am I gonna pull this off here? It's really very challenging here. So, Miss Sheena Romero herself shared with you how to be successful abroad, all right, how to stand out, how to make things happen, how to convert yourself, improve yourself, enhance yourself. You started timid, all right? There's a way for you, there's a chance for you to improve that. Okay, so thank you so much, Coach Sheena, for sharing your wisdom. Okay,
My
now,
pleasure.
um, I guess that's just my processing, right? That's just my processing. But in addition to that, okay, so now we know that emotional intelligence, the leader being emotionally intelligent, him or herself, okay, being emotionally intelligent and socializing with other people, because once again, our employees are not just numbers, they're human beings
Hmm.
that feel hurt, right? But at the end of the day, okay, so I think this is the most difficult part, right? So you want to be compassionate, you want to be people oriented,
Hmm.
you want to have that heart, okay? But the thing is, when despite being emotionally intelligent, being empathetic, all right, so you are treating them as human beings, okay, so you're a good people person, in other
Hmm.
words. But what can they do if at the end of the day they're still not delivering the numbers you need? Because at the end of the day, that's what the company is paying us for, right?
Hmm.
Bring us the results, help the company become more profitable,
Hmm.
exceed your measures, your key performance indicators. So as a manager, what can you do?
So, and I've encountered this a lot because a lot of people, I mean, we just have situations, things come up, and you know, what I can do from my end is be able to let them know that I know where they're coming from, because I do, and being able to empathize. And maybe, for me, like empathy is like, nagsisimpatya ka, you're sympathizing, but then you're bouncing back to, look, I came from there too, and I know it's hard, right? Because I had to really share. I have to be somehow vulnerable and let them know where I kind of came from. But of course, there are HR, HR things that you cannot divulge to your employees, right? Because they might turn around and take that against you. So you still have to be careful, but letting them know that you know where they're coming from, and pulling them aside, right? And don't give them feedback while you're on the floor, because if someone's not performing or someone is performing and no longer performing, there's something wrong, right? There's something bothering them. So you have to be very aware of those things, right? So you have to pull them off, and sometimes it's because maybe you fail to listen to them, or maybe they're going through those things. So you want to be able to pull them aside and be proactive in that. If you want them to be proactive, you have to be proactive yourself, right? You have to pay attention to those small details as to where this person, maybe, granted, maybe the work is not for them, but you can only do your best, right? You can only walk them through, you can empathize with them. So this is what I did, because I struggled to the very first time. So I'm able to let them know that I was there too, and be able to tell them that these are the things that I did in order for me to get there. And from there, empathizing, acknowledging that the existence of the emotions and the mindset, you can understand, and it's natural, right? And removing the isolation, yung feeling na parang ako lang yung ganito, right? And making them open up to you, be vulnerable, and of course, be able to respect them. With that regard, of course, you can't divulge that to other people, and also at the same time, giving them like an action plan. So here's partnership, right? You have to be there for them and with them. I am here, I got your back, right? But also at the same time, you have to hold them accountable. You have to let them know, okay, so these are the things that we can do, that I know that you can do, like empowering them. I know that you can, because I mean, me for me to coach them. I mean, for me to be coaching someone here from the U.S. when the primary language is that I'm using is here, like expressing themselves. I always tell them, like, you can express yourself more than I can. So you can, even if you don't have, I understand that you don't have any experience, but I didn't as well. I was the same way. I was even, I'm having the hard time. Like I'm having to not just negotiate. I'm also having to convert what I have to say, and I'm having to, learn these things. So I have so much more, because sometimes I can't express myself as well as they do. So that makes them feel like, oh, okay, so parang okay lang na maging, it's okay that I can embrace myself and all of that I have a situation, but at the same time, I have to learn how to be able to manage it. So you're managing your own emotional intelligence, yourself, and you're also helping them manage theirs, right? So being able to let them know that this is personal, right? This is your life, and you want to be able to manage it when you're there. You can't be in a party and thinking of like, oh, my mom is calling me, or I have to go home because my wife is, like, be there and enjoy it. Enjoy this moment that you're, but if you're not here, if you're not present, if you're worrying about your child, if you're worrying about everything else, then go there. Like you don't force yourself if you cannot. But for me, I'm able na ano ko na siya, I've mastered my emotions as to where if it's an emergency for my child, of course I'm gonna go right away. But if it's something that's manageable, I stay here, I manage myself, I manage my mind and my emotions, and deal with the numbers, and work with my team, work with my manager, or as a manager, work with your agent. Because when they see that you're really working hard to be there for them, you're there for their success, you're there to be a partner, then there's no way in heck that they're not going to work with you, because at the end of the day, it's both of y'all's success.
There you go. Wow. Amen to that. Very well said. See, that's one of the key words that I got from you, Sheena. consider your people as partners, not just employees or subordinates. Wow, I still want to ask a lot more, but we've just run out of
I know. I'm sorry.
right. It's already 1 hour. So, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. For all our those who appreciated Coach Sheena, how else can they get a hold of you if they would like to engage your service or coaching, so that you can, they can ask you more questions about this topic and also your other areas of expertise. Where do we find you? Where can we contact you? Go ahead, Coach.
I'm everywhere. No, I'm in the community here in the US. I have there in the Philippines as well. So you can see me. Maybe my face is popping up everywhere there.
Yeah.
But my
You have what
social,
social media accounts you want to promote? Your Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. Or your
yeah,
email
most
address,
definitely.
get in touch with you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have my personal one. You can add it. I'm not ashamed of adding people. I have Gail Goni Romero, and I also have Gail Sheena Gail. I'm sorry, Sheena Goni Romero and Sheena Gail Romero. Um, but yeah, so those are my own personal. If you're asking me personal,
There you go. And take a look at her background, guys. Virtual assistant and freelancer bootcamp 2022. Coach Sheena, go ahead and tell us about this event, who your target participants are, and what are they going to learn out of this. Go ahead.
oh my goodness, I'm so excited because I interviewed, of course, Mentor Myron. I'm that the right
I'm
Mentor Myron. But we have over 20 really powerful speakers. They came from the freelancing, or they were like small business scaled up. Now earning 6 to 7 figures, or the company is worth 6 to 7 figures, and you'll learn a lot how they survive from just nothing to
Let's show
now
them.
they're very powerful.
There you
There you
go.
go. Yeah, so it's more for virtual assistant freelancers, anyone who is solopreneur and startup business, entrepreneurs, and we're opening the minds. This is a global event, so we're opening the mind of the whole world that virtual assistant and freelancers are the ones helping these successful people all over the world. Those coaches who are building 7-figure businesses. So we cannot fail to recognize them, because they are part of how successful these people are. And of course, the ones who are starting up, opening their minds to it's okay to invest in people, because sometimes they're scared of hiring individuals because they think that it's just a cost, or they don't want anything to be out of control of their task. They want to do it themselves. So these people will tell them, like, if you want to scale up, you have to be hiring people, you have to be delegating. And then of course, in the freelancing world, virtual assistants world, investing in yourself, up leveling your skills, not only in hard skills but also soft skills. So we have different coaches in there: alignment coach, empowerment coach, even parang relaxation coach, as to where you will find your ikigai, your purpose, sense of purpose, as to where you're meeting, of course, your earning, and also at the same time you're meeting what the community or the public needs from you, and also serving your sense of purpose as well. So that's a really big event. So I hope each and every single one of you support it.
I'm sharing your Facebook page, facebook.com/virtual assistant and freelancer bootcamp. So if you want to know more about this event, how to register, etc., visit Sheena's Facebook page.
Yes, and we're actually starting the promotion on Sunday CDT 8:00 a.m. and that's Sunday PHT 9:00 p.m. I have to always convert. I'm sorry.
There you go. Once again, thank you so much to our guest resource person. Hopefully you appreciated #Myron Kaming advice. Let's give her a big virtual round of applause. Thank you so much, Coach Sheena. And you've really made our Saturday night so bright with all the wisdom you shared. Thank you so much. And I'll see you again.
Thank you for having me. You have a great day, guys. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
There you go, guys. You just learned from our very beautiful and really smart coach for tonight for our episode of hashtag Myron Kaming Advice, Coach Sheena Romero. And once again, I shared with you. Let me share it again. Maybe if you guys didn't, notice it, let me go ahead and share it. There. Okay, hope you guys can see this. So this is her Facebook page, Virtual Assistant and Freelancer Bootcamp. So I'm there. I'm one of the speakers. I'm done being interviewed by her. I talked about how virtual assistants and freelancers can scale up their business by not only treating their job as a profession, but also as a business. Because in a business, in any business, you have your functions or departments, right? So management, accounting, marketing, sales, HR, right? So even though you're just a one-man team, you have to have all of those. All right. Treat yourself as a CEO of your own company because it is a company. There you go. So just visit that Facebook page. Okay. All right. So we're done, guys. And I just want to give you a preview on what to expect for next week. So for next week, we're going to have a very interesting speaker is going to talk about graphic design, etc. So watch out. Make sure you have already liked my Facebook page, my LinkedIn profile, my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be posting right after this, okay, the next episode of hashtag Myron Kaming Advice. So make sure you are there. Okay? So muli, ito po ang inyong lingkod, Mentor Myron Sta. At Sabado ngayon, di ba? Weekend. Please enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Goodbye, guys.